Landman doesn't treat Tommy Norris's eventual removal as M-Tex president like a shocking twist. It treats it like a slow, unavoidable conclusion. The show has been carefully explaining, piece by piece, why his days in that role are numbered, even as it keeps him technically in power. This isn't a fall driven by scandal or betrayal. It's a quiet expiration brought on by misalignment, exhaustion, and the limits of endurance. The biggest signal is that Tommy is no longer shaping outcomes, he's reacting to them. Presidents who last dictate direction. Tommy absorbs pressure. Deals land on his desk already compromised. Decisions are framed as necessities rather than choices. The show repeatedly puts him in situations where the best he can do is minimize damage. That's not leadership, that's containment, and containment is always temporary. Another warning sign is how often Tommy's authority is bypassed without being challenged. No one openly stages a coup. They simply work around him. Cammy negotiates. Galino dictates. Investors apply pressure. Tommy is informed rather than consulted. That subtle erosion matters more than open conflict because it normalizes his irrelevance. Once a president becomes optional, replacement is only a matter of timing. The show also makes it clear that Tommy's instincts are now liabilities. His Landman's intuition, once his greatest strength, keeps clashing with the demands of executive leadership. He sees problems early, but can't act decisively without creating political fallout. Every move risks legal exposure or financial retaliation. Over time, that hesitation reads as weakness, even when it's actually caution. Fatigue is another crucial factor. Tommy isn't burning out in a dramatic way. He's wearing down. His judgment is slower. His patience is thinner. His relationships are strained. Landman understands that leadership failure doesn't always come from one bad decision. It often comes from too many difficult ones made, without relief. Exhaustion doesn't announce itself, but organizations sense it. Perhaps most telling is how the show reframes Tommy as a moral reference point rather than a strategic one. He questions decisions instead of driving them. He voices concern rather than issuing directives. That shift positions him as conscience, not commander. Companies don't remove consciences easily, but they do sideline them. Galino's presence accelerates this timeline rather than extending it. While Galino currently protects Tommy from immediate removal, he also ensures that Tommy will eventually be blamed for the partnership's fallout. Survival logic can delay reckoning, but it can't prevent it. When M-Tex stabilizes or collapses, someone will need to answer for the compromises made. Tommy is already positioned as that person. There's also a narrative inevitability at work. Landman keeps returning to the idea that roles have seasons. Tommy was exactly what M-Tex needed at one point: a fixer, a negotiator, a stabilizing force. The company has outgrown that phase. What it needs now is someone who can manage systems, not scramble through crises. The show doesn't treat this as failure, it treats it as timing. Even Tommy seems to sense it. His resistance feels less like ambition and more like reluctance to admit the truth. He clings to the presidency not because he believes he's thriving in it, but because stepping away would force him to confront what comes next. That uncertainty is more frightening than staying in a role that's slowly draining him. What makes this storyline compelling is that no one has to be the villain. There's no traitor waiting in the wings. Just a company evolving faster than its leader can adapt. Landman frames this not as punishment, but as consequence. By the time Tommy leaves the presidency, whether by choice or pressure, it won't feel sudden. It will feel overdue. The show has already explained why, quietly and consistently. His days aren't numbered because he's incompetent or corrupt. They're numbered because the job no longer matches who he is, and the cost of pretending otherwise keeps rising. In Landman, leadership doesn't end with a bang. It ends when the role and the person finally stop pretending they belong together.